This meeting is being recorded.
Excellent. Want to welcome everybody. This is our first time using this system, but it looks like we're gonna meeting do important items only today. We don't want to get on too long if we don't have to. So if it's something important, yeah, we want to discuss it. If it isn't, we'll maybe hold off until the next meeting. We'll move to introductions, and Brian is going to call off names and just say aye or here. Go ahead.
Dale, let's start with the voting members first.
Please.
Go ahead. All right, go ahead, Dale. Introduce yourself.
Dale Stein, voting member, chair of the committee.
Thank you. Dave?
Dave Brass, voting member, the committee.
Thank you. Erica?
Erica Goodman, voting member.
Thank you. Darren?
Darren Heckling, voting member.
Okay, thank you. I'm Brian Steinmiller, Assistant Director for the Stonewater Conservation Committee. I have Adam Doan. You just introduce yourself and where you're from. Adam?
He's muted.
Yep, I see that. Adam Doan, you can introduce yourself. Okay, well, AJ Battaglia.
Hi, AJ Battaglia, State Committee.
Thank you. Asim.
Hi, Asim Kumar from Division of Water, New York State DEC.
Thank you. Ben.
Ben Milken, State Committee.
Thank you. Beth Claypool.
Welcome to WebEx. Enter your access code or meeting number followed by pound.
Bethany.
Bethany Bizdu, State Committee.
Thank you. Brendan Jordan.
Enter your attendee ID number followed by pound. If you do not
Brendan Jordan, State Committee.
press pound.
Thank you very much. I have somebody from Broome County, Stonewater District. Okay. I have a bunch of call-in users that did not introduce themselves, did not write in. Chaz, are you on?
I am on.
Thank you very much. I have Chris Overfell.
But when you're
Colby Peterson.
District Manager, Yates County.
Thank you very much. Corey.
Brian, how's it going?
Good. Is this Corey from Suffolk or Corey from Montgomery?
Corey from Suffolk. Sorry, Brian.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I have a Dale Haling.
Yates County, board member.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. I have a Deborah Dawson.
Yes, I'm Tompkins County board member.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. I have Doug.
Doug Kears, Executive Director at Cuba County Soil Water.
Thank you very much. Erin Berzini. She's from Seneca County. Got Greg Albrecht.
Good morning, Greg Albrecht, State Committee.
Thank you. Jake Wiedemeyer.
Jake Wiedemeyer here, Ulster County.
Thank you very much. Jason Kay.
Jason Kay, State Committee.
Thank you. Jennifer Clifford.
Jennifer Clifford, State Committee.
Thank you. I have a Joe. Julie Mellencamp.
Hi, Julie Melanson, DEC Region 7.
Oh, thank you for joining us. Caitlin,
Hi,
Damian?
yeah, Caitlin from Suffolk Soil and Water. Hi.
Hi, thank you for joining. Kelly Emmerich? Hey, Lindsay?
I am here, Brian.
Okay, and can you just introduce yourself for the group?
I apologize. Sorry. Lindsay Gersten-Slager, Wayne County Soil and Water District Manager.
Thanks for joining us. Matt Arno?
Hi, if you can hear me, I'm New York State Ag and Markets Produce Safety Inspector.
Oh, thank you for joining. Miranda Palmer?
Good morning, Miranda Palmer, Tioga County Soil and Water.
Thank you. PJ Emmerich?
Hi, good morning. PJ Emmerich, Region 2 Associate Environmental Analyst.
Thank you. Paul Kesmarzik?
Yep, Paul Kaczmarzyk, Bureau of Water Supply Protection at DOH.
Thank you very much. Paula?
Paula Bagley, NRCS.
Thank you very much. Peter Nichols? Okay, I believe he is from Schoharie County Soil and Water District. Ron Bush?
Good morning, Ron Bush, State Committee.
Thank you. Ryan Cunningham?
Good morning, Brian Cunningham, State Committee.
Thank you. Sarah Latessa?
Good morning, Division of Water, New York State DEC.
Thank you. Spencer Andrews? Oh. Spencer Andrews? All right, Stephanie?
Yep, Stephanie Wojtowicz, Department of State Office of Planning and Development.
Thank you very much for joining, Stephanie. Tim Clark?
Yep, good morning. I'm Tim Clark. I'm the engineer for the State Committee.
Great, thank you. Tim Sweeney?
Yep, I'm here, Ag and Markets.
Thank you very much. Travis? Okay. Victor DiGiacomo?
Good morning. I'm State Committee Field Staff for Western New York.
Thank you. And Megan Webster? Okay, Megan Webster is from Ontario County. I have a number of call-in users that did not put their name in. If you could please type your name into the chat box below. That way we have a record of who's attended the meeting so we can record that for our minutes. That would be great. Okay. I think, Dale, that might have been the most complicated part of our meeting today. So introductions.
Hey, Brian.
Yes.
Brian, this guy Ryan, I'm NYACD. I'm on. I don't know how to do this. Type in thing.
Okay. Great. Well, Scott, thank you very much. Anybody else that I might have missed?
Brian, this is Pete Nichols from Schoharie County. I'm not sure if you called my name. I had another call, so.
I did, but thank you, Pete.
Yep, thanks.
Brian, Sam Casella.
Yep. Thank you, Sam.
President NYCD.
Yep. Let's continue on. Anybody I missed or anybody did not put their name in. We'll just take a few minutes to do this. It's fine.
This is Klaus Martins. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you, Klaus. Thank you very much for joining.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Good morning. This is Caitlin Stewart, Hamilton County Soil and Water.
Good morning, Caitlin.
Good morning. This is Howie Miller, Rensselaer County Soil and Water.
Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. This is Chris Oberfell. I'm sitting in for the Produce Safety Department for Ag and Markets.
Thank you for joining us, Chris. Okay. Anybody else that we missed? I see Chip has joined us from Broome. Thank you. Who else?
Lauren Zazorski, State Committee staff.
Good morning, Lauren.
Hi there, Megan Myers from Rensselaer County Soil and Water, too.
I see Brian Rom from Cornell is on. Good morning, Brian.
How you doing, Ben?
I guess. Anybody else?
Mark Humber from Wayne County Soil and Water.
Thank you. Okay.
All set, Brian?
Yes, I think we're all set. If anybody else who might have joined, and if you have my email address, and if we didn't have a chance for you to introduce yourself, please just shoot me a quick email to let me know that you were on the call today, your name and your affiliation. I would appreciate that.
You get one or two that came in on a text there that they didn't have microphone capabilities?
Yes, I believe so.
All right. Yep. Okay. Review in a few minutes. Any additions or corrections, anyone?
Move to approve.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Approved. Correspondence, Brian? Budget update.
Sure thing. From this point forward, if you do motion and second, just for minutes purposes, if you could just say your name first, that would be great.
Right.
No correspondence today.
Can I
We have a couple of.
minute? Excuse me, this is Deborah Dawson. I've done a whole bunch of these meetings because I'm a county legislator. When you vote on something, you have to call the roll of the voting members and have them each say aye or nay or denote their vote so that when it's recorded, you'll have a record of who voted.
Okay, yep, thank you very much. Okay, if I can just ask all of you as well to please mute your lines unless you're speaking, that would be great. I appreciate that. Okay, so a lot has gone on since the last time we met, obviously. I'm going to keep this report very brief. Just to say, first and foremost, I hope that all of you, your staff, board members, and families are feeling well, staying healthy. And of course, we all know about the executive orders and the New York pause. I just want to let the committee know that we have made available information and guidance when we receive it to all conservation districts and the conservation partnership. Guidance pursuant to each executive order that is relative to the work that we're doing. That started on Monday, March 17th, and has continued every time there is new guidance to provide. Also, on Monday, March 17th, we put an email out to all conservation districts asking about their office closures and meeting cancellations. And we also talked about a few things that the committee were doing. Number one, looking at a performance measure requirements related to board meetings, trainings, outreach, and travel-related functions. And the extension of RFP deadlines for all of our RFPs that are currently available. Committee field staff, all committee field staff have been working from home. Committee field staff has, made every effort to make sure they're available to all conservation districts to help them through this process. Many have attended board meetings remotely, including trainings where they could via remote participation. We've also established on our SharePoint site an announcements page where districts could access and post their county's emergency continuity of government plans and other steps that the district is taking during this emergency. We're working very closely with the Employees Association, President Chaz Miller, Vice President Dustin Lewis, and others to make sure that information is available to all conservation districts. The contract and grant work that we have been doing, we've also established additional guidance on time extensions and other amendments, as well as interim reporting. We are still continuing to process claims for payments and contracts that are in the pipeline, including round 16 AIM base and round 25 of Ag non-point source. We've extended our grant funding opportunities. The Ag non-point source round 26 is extended right now through May 18th, due at 4 p.m. local time. The implementation of high efficiency agricultural irrigation water management systems, which is an EBM opportunity, has been extended through May 4th, 2020, 4 p.m. local time. Implementation of game plans on New York State grown and certified farms has also been extended to May 4th, 2020, 4 p.m. local time. Brief comments on the budget that was enacted on April 3rd, specifically the Environmental Protection Fund. Overall appropriation for the fiscal year 21 EPF were approved by the legislature at $300 million. Proposals of interest to committee and districts in this budget include the following: $18 million for agricultural non-point source pollution control projects, including $1 million for Cornell IPM and $500,000 for the CCE of Suffolk County, and $250,000 for the Cornell PMEP program. $10.5 million for soil and water conservation districts. That is our state aid to soil and water districts program. $4.5 million for the climate resilient farming program, including $200,000 for the Cornell soil health program. $18.6 million for the water quality improvement program. $13.238 for invasive species. $18.75 million for the Oceans and Great Lakes Initiative. $2.3 million for the Finger Lakes Lake Ontario Protection Alliance. $250,000 for Lake Erie Watershed Protection Alliance, and $18 million for farmland protection. All of this will be in the minutes, so you'll see this list. I know I went fast through this. Also within the capital projects budget legislation, the new Environmental Bond Act, where $3 billion was approved to go to the voters in November. This is known as the Restore Mother Nature Bond Act, and includes climate mitigation and adaptation projects, voluntary buyouts for flood mitigation, water quality improvement projects, farmland and open space protection projects. This bond act has to go to the voters in November, and if approved by the voters, potential exists for the expansion of funding for district projects. Dale, that concludes correspondence, COVID-19 emergency and budget updates.
All right, good. We'll move on to state aid to districts, the 2020 performance measure revision.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm going to share my screen. All right. As I mentioned earlier, one of the first things the state committee looked at was our performance measures and how the current public health crisis would impact districts' abilities to meet performance measures. Many of our performance measures are reliant on traveling across the state, on attending trainings and events, public outreach campaigns, and other things that are not possible right now. And even when we're able to do some normal function, we feel that districts will be significantly delayed in other operational elements. So we're asking the state committee to modify the performance measure program for the 2020 year to address these concerns so that as many districts as possible can still meet the performance measures and receive full funding. At that, I'll hand the mic over to Ben Luskin to talk about the recommendations that we're asking the state committee to approve today.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. We can't see anything on the screen still. I don't know if you have it up or not.
I do. Hold on one second. Thank you for that, Ben. I need to hit a button. Sorry about that. There we go. That better?
I think it's loading. It's coming.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, so as Brian said, the process that we really took with the performance measures recommendation was that when the virus really started to spread and things began to shut down across the state, we quickly realized that because of COVID-19, many of the performance measures requirements would be much harder or impossible to achieve by the conservation districts. We decided that the requirements for 2020, the recommendations we were going to put out, needed to be modified, including the shifting of the allocated funds between the 5 different performance measures. These changes really need to occur in order to maintain a fair, non-competitive level of performance that can be achieved by the districts during the current circumstances. And with the maintained large amount of money in the budget for state aid that is awarded in part to the districts based on the completion of performance measures, we don't want to see any districts that are negatively affected by these conditions that are really outside of their control. So our approach to these recommendations was to be proactive. We really didn't want to make small changes that we needed to keep revisiting in the coming months as new issues come up. So we had several meetings and discussions as state committee staff. We also analyzed some of the data from the past few years of performance measures just to see how many of the performance measures and the questions that districts across the state were completing. We met with the president and vice president of the Employees Association, and we received a lot of feedback and concerns from districts that they didn't feel that they could complete the performance measures this year, or we're going to have some issues with that. So in that, let's take a look at what's on the screen. So these are the recommendations that we're putting forth to the committee. Performance measures 1, reduce the award down to 0%. All the questions would remain the same there, but there wouldn't be any money actually tied to that performance measure. Performance measure 2, increase the award to 15%. So it was at 10%, so it would go up to 15. 5 of that percent would be coming from performance measures 1. Many of the items and check boxes for those questions are in 2A and 2B. They may not be achievable because they are in-person events and presentations that districts may not be able to complete. So the idea was to combine all the questions from 2A and 2B into one question that includes all the items for presentations, reports, publications, outreach, and education. So what this does is it reduces the requirement really for the districts from 12 of those items down to only 3. So that should be much more achievable across the state for this year. And to possibly add additional items to that list as choices as they come up, and there is always the option to submit a special request for any item that qualifies as other. So that's just a sheet that's always out there that districts can submit for several of the performance measures. And 2C would remain the same, which is, yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but apparently everybody lost the screen.
They lost the screen. Okay.
I'm going to continue to have you describe this because this went out with the agenda, so you all should have received a copy of this while I try to figure out if I can get the screen back up.
Okay. Yeah, and 2C, the annual plan of work would still be required. Performance measure 3, we would be increasing the award to 35% from 30%. The other 5% of that 5% increase would be coming from performance measure 1. Reduce the requirement from completing 3 items down to 2. So performance measures 3 is made up of 7 different questions. And normally you have to complete 3 of those questions. We're going to drop that down to only completing 2 of those questions. And one of those questions, performance measure 3.2, is partnerships between districts and different local, state, and federal or private entities. Usually you have to complete 4 partnerships as part of that question, and we're going to drop that down to 2 partnerships. Moving on to performance measures 4, increase the award to 50%. That was at 40%. The other 10% would be coming from performance measures 5, which will be dropping down to 0%. So as part of PM4, we would be reducing the requirement from 5 natural resource conservation programs down to 3. And also, again, stressing the option to submit a special request form if there's an other item that is not on the list. Performance measures 5, I'm sorry, like I said, drop down to 0%, and all questions will remain the same, but there won't be any money tied to this performance measure. 2019 was the first year that there was money tied to this one, and it also generated the most follow-up questions with districts this year. There were some things that were in question, so because of this, we felt like it was a good idea to drop that back down to 0%, just because we didn't know how the partnerships between NGOs, and especially, and then also local governments would be, going forward this year. So, and as the note in the bottom says, districts will be encouraged to still complete all the performance measures, including PM1 and PM5, as they are able to in 2020. So we're hoping that districts, just because the requirements are lessened, obviously our hope is that you will still be completing as many of the usual requirements as possible for this year. So those are the recommendations as presented. If anybody has any questions, I guess.
Let me just ask, can you see the recommendations again up on the screen?
Yes.
Yeah, they're there.
I got them back just as you were completing. Okay, thank you, everybody.
All right, anybody, discussions, questions, anyone? If not, we'll move to a motion to approve, and you make the motion in a second, and when you do vote, please say your name.
Russ, I move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and approved, or moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Say your name, please.
Abrams, aye.
Dale, why don't you just take a roll call and call on each to vote?
Okay, you're right. Dave Brass?
Yes.
Karen?
Aye.
Erica?
Aye.
Moved and approved. Anything else on that part, Brian?
No, that is all. Thank you.
All right. The districts. We'll move on to the Stonewater staff and advisory reports. What we're going to do is keep it down to important stuff. And if any, we have a lot of staff, a lot of board members on. If you have a question you would like answered, please at this time too. How do you want to proceed with so many people remotely, Brian?
I've unmuted everybody's line, so if you have a question, you can either type it in the chat box or you can unmute your line and ask a question. But as Dale said, we're going to try to keep this as brief as possible, given the nature of our teleconference here today.
Anyone, comments, questions, something you want to bring up? Do you have anything, Brian?
I do not.
All right. I don't hear anything, so we'll move on to climate resilient farming program. Jennifer?
Thank you.
AJ?
AJ, would you like to introduce the amendment? We'll do that first, and then we'll ask everybody that has to recuse themselves to hang up the line so we can approve the ranked list.
Yeah, excuse me. We had one amendment for the committee's consideration. It's from Region 1, Genesee County Soil and Water Conservation District. Eastview Farms, Inc. manure storage cover and flare was a round 1 CRF project. And they're asking for a time extension to June 30th, 2021. And the reason is that Eastview Farms is requesting it's actually a second time extension. They had requested one in September and got approved, but they are asking for a second time extension to allow for construction completion and engineer certification. The second extension is needed because construction was delayed in the fall to allow a redesign of the cover and flare system to include a blower. Final engineering is now complete and the farm is working with the contractor to schedule construction. However, a date is not currently available due to COVID-19, and the farm is pushing for a late spring construction. Victor DiGiacomo supports the request but refers to the state committee.
Questions, anyone? Comments? Motion with, please.
Erica Goodman, so moved.
Dave Brush, second.
It's been moved and seconded. We'll go to voting. Dave?
Aye.
Erica?
Aye.
Aaron?
Aye.
Motion approved.
Thank you. And thank you, AJ.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, because I have to recuse, before we move on to that, Dave will be taking over on that section. I want to thank everybody for participating today, and if you have, for all the district and board people, if you have questions, forward them to staff at Albany, and they will bring clarification on questions as it moves forward. Everything moves forward. We're kind of in a new territory, and we'll see how things go. We're going to try to do a face-to-face meeting whenever we're allowed to. No one knows exactly when that is going to be at this time. Everyone be safe. Anything else I need added to, Brian?
Well, this now, since you're on the line still, but next meeting proposed to go back to a regular third Tuesday of the month, which would be May 19th. And we'll, of course, remain flexible on whether we can do that via teleconference or face-to-face.
19th is fine by me.
Eric, Darren, Dave?
That's for me.
It works for me, Jeff.
May is always tough for me, so well, I'll see. Whatever.
Okay, thank you, Darren.
I will go for that date. There.
Yeah, we'll go from that date. And Darren, you and I will we'll chat as the date gets nearer.
Yeah.
All right. So I know we have a lot of people on the line. However, the next thing that we need to address here at the committee is the approval of the ranked list for round 5. Before I put that up and turn the mic over to Jennifer, I'm going to ask that all of our guest conservation districts, district staff, and district board members, and any farmers that are also on the line right now that have applied through their conservation districts for round 5 climate resilient farming must recuse. And the best way to do that is to please hang up your line so that we can move forward to address this motion. So at this point, I will ask that most of you who have joined us today, and all of you from conservation districts or farmers, to please hang up your line, and then we will proceed to the remainder of the agenda.
Thank you, Brian.
Dave, we're just going to give it a minute or two before we start up again, okay?
Okay.
I still see a few Conservation District folks on the line. I'm going to ask that you please hang up the line at this point in time. It's this equivalent to you leaving the meeting room while we address this. The exception for Conservation District participation is, as always, the Employees Association is allowed to remain on the line or in the room.
This is great, Brian. I just want you to go. Good job. This is Chad.
Well, yeah. I hope we don't have to do this for another month. I'll just tell you that right now. But thank you.
I'll take my screen thing off now.
Hey, there's Chaz.
Yeah, sorry.
Chaz.
Hey, I've been here. I covered it because I was eating my yogurt.
Oh, no problem. No problem. All right. I still see a couple of Conservation District folks on the line and a few call-in users that that haven't been identified. If you please can leave the meeting at this time so we can address the next part of the agenda.
Brian, Brian, this is Beth. You may also have the ability to get rid of them yourself. Whoever is the host should be able to get rid of them.
I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that as we speak. Thank you, though, Beth.
It's usually up under.
Yeah, it's under like your hosting stuff. Your hosting. Hold down.
Hey, Brian, this is Ryan. Be careful of cutting everyone off because sometimes it double lists. It lists a number and a name, and it's the same person, and it'll list it twice.
Yeah. I'm just going to give it another minute or two and sure some folks have it running and they're just not in the room.
You can sometimes see the difference between who's on their computer audio versus phone audio.
Yeah, who's on the phone.
I mean, technology is sometimes the best thing and the worst thing.
No doubt. All right, so I just okay. So I don't know who caller user 11, 16, 19, and 25 are. Your lines are unmuted. If you can either introduce yourself.
Brian, this is Tim Sweeney. I'm still on the line. I don't know if I'm one of those callers. I don't know how the hell to use this stuff.
I got your name. Name.
All righty.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to mute. Yep.
Caller 19 is Ron Bush.
Oh, okay. Hi, Ron. And I saw your name too. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Hey, Brian, this is Lauren, and I'm just on the phone, so I'm probably one of those.
That's right.
Well.
Yep. So you're one of them as well. Thank you.
And Ryan, this is Greg. Brian, this matches the number of callers with call-in user numbers. There's okay. 3 that looks like joined via phone
Okay.
and the computer, and then Lauren just acknowledged that she was just on the phone.
We are good.
Great.
This is Paula. I'm on the phone and the computer, so.
Oh, okay, good. All right, I apologize for the, second. All right, I apologize for all of that. This is what's taking the longest today, and I'm glad we have time built into the agenda to take care of these things. But, okay, at this point, I am not seeing any district individuals. Dale Stein has also left the meeting. So, Dave, it is your meeting now to cover the round 5 ranked list in resolution 20-1. I'll bring that up real quick.
Okay. You want me to read all that's in there?
No, Dave, you don't have to do that, but when we get to the motion, just do the same thing that Dale did earlier. Ask for the first and second for them to identify themselves, and the vote for the actual resolution to please also identify their names with a vote.
Right.
Okay, so first I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the round 5 ranked list, and I'm going to turn the mic over to Jennifer, and then we'll go to the resolution. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Thanks, Brian.
Is everybody seeing my screen?
I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yep.
Good, Brian.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, so I'm Jennifer Clifford. I'm going to go through the CRF round 5. This is the scoring sheet, the ranked list that you're looking at. I just want to first thank all the reviewers that helped go through all of the applications. We have 4 reviewers that look through all the applications, and this is the final ranked list for your consideration today. So it is, I will just remind you, it's 3 tracks. Track 1 is cover and flare, track 2 is water management, and track 3 is soil health. And then I will go ahead and read the resolution right now.
Since this is on 2 pages, the first page here is track 1 and track 2.
Yes.
And the third and the second page is track 3. I just scrolled down to that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So while everyone's kind of looking at that, I can go ahead and read the resolution.
Okay, the resolution is now up.
Okay, resolution 20-1, that subject to the availability of funds, the committee shall award funding pursuant to round 5 of the Climate Resilient Farming Grant Program for projects ranked on each of the 3 lists, 1 list per track, until funds available for this purpose are exhausted or the scoring threshold is reached, consistent with the Soil and Water Conservation District Law, the RFP, and any other law applicable to funding of such projects. Consistent with the RFP, the committee authorizes the Department of Agriculture and Markets to negotiate the terms of the contract with the project sponsors and to make minor adjustments to the project description and budget as necessary to achieve project goals, conform to applicable laws and regulations, and to serve the best interests of the state.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'll bring the list back up again here.
You like it? Look.
Okay, Dave, that is the resolution that we're asking for the state committee to approve.
Okay. I need the name and an approval.
Darren Hickling, I so move.
I need a name and second.
Erica Goodman, second.
Okay, repeat your name and if you approve or don't approve, please.
This is Darren Hickling, I approve.
Erica Goodman, approve.
We need 3, don't we?
No, Dale's recused himself, Dave, so that's it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So that motion.
The motion's approved.
Okay, thank you. And
Excellent,
just,
thank you.
yes, thank you very much. Timing-wise, we are working toward getting awards made for next week, Earth Week. Whether or not we're still on time to do that, that's going to be up to the governor's office. But all that we've done so far for this round was an effort and timeline to be able to make awards next week. Earth Week is the week that Earth Day and Arbor Day, both in the same week. So thank you very much for all of everybody's effort in reviewing. Well, actually, thank you for all the district's effort and working so hard to submit these applications, program and staff to review for eligibility and completeness, and the evaluators to review and score. Really appreciate it. Okay. Okay, Dave.
Okay. Got meeting all set for next time?
Yep, we're right now scheduled for May 19th, and just stay tuned for more information about that, and obviously stay tuned for more information over the next couple of weeks and beyond on all of all the issues related to this COVID-19 emergency, and we'll make sure everybody is in the know and aware of what is all going on.
Okay. Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Give your name then, every time we do this.
Darren Hickling. So moved.
A second?
Erica Goodman, second.
Thank you.
Put it to a vote, Dave?
All those in favor, Dave?
Getting there.
Okay.
Dave, we got a first and a second. Do you want to put that to a vote so we can adjourn?
I think Darren moved to adjourn and Erica moved second.
Okay. We are adjourned.
Then they said they approved, so we are adjourned.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully, next time we can get together.
I hope so.